Hello, fellow beach maniacs and island music lovers. Welcome to the Beach Maniac Island Music Podcast, where we dive into the stories behind the music. I'm your host, the beach maniac himself, Bill Hurley. All right, our guest today is Kirstie Kraus, a Wisconsin native who's been making serious waves out of Nashville, not by fitting into a box, but by building her own lane. She blends modern country with a little old school rock, a little beach town attitude, and a whole lot of personality. And that's exactly why she's found a home not just in country music, but right here in the Trop Rock world as well. It feels very special to have you back, Kirstie, because you were the second guest ever on the Beach Maniac Island Music Podcast when we were just getting our feet wet and figuring things out in 2024.
That's right. Oh my gosh, I know. Hello. Thank you for having me so much.
Well, I appreciate that you took the time to help me get this podcast off the ground back then. And I appreciate you taking the time to meet with us again today.
Yeah, I mean, this community is really special. So when you say stuff like in the intro, it just makes me really grateful.
And I know that you've had a very busy last 2 years since we last talked to you, and we're going to get into all of that. But first, I know you're excited about the recent release of your new song, You Got That Lovin'. So let's start with that. Tell us about You Got That Lovin'.
You Got That Lovin' is an empowerment song and also a song about love. And I like to write about both. So I was like, why don't we put those two together? And I got in the room with Mike Loudermilk and Ariel Jade to write it. The three of us got together to work on the duet with Ariel Jade and myself called I Now Know Better. And so she was like, why don't we write with Mike? And I was like, okay. So we got in the writing room, and next thing I know, we're talking about the potentiality of releasing the song. And I'm like, that would be amazing. And long story short, I got to work with Mike, just the two of us in the studio. And it was, he definitely is very talented and very inspiring.
You didn't just walk into the studio with no idea about what song you were going to write, did you? You must have had some concept in mind ahead of time.
Yeah, definitely. That day in particular, it was more about the groove and the feel of like wanting to write a very feel-good song. And Mike leads with the guitar. So he just was playing something. I was like, yes to that. That sounds very what we should be writing today. And so then when You Got That Lovin' came about, I immediately was like, oh yeah, it's about Ariel and I went on verses immediately. And we're talking about how it's just about someone who's independent. And then when they find the right kind of love, they decide that they want to share their life with that person. And it's better to have that person and share those moments with. So that's really what the song is about. So with that being said, it was like, I thought I had it all figured out. I sleep better on my own, like the whole thing. And, but when you find the right person, it's just the power of that.
So, I'm always interested in the mechanics of how a song begins with an idea and the process it takes to turn it into a releasable track. So, again, did somebody have the idea, the basic idea going into that studio? Did something come to you at some point?
I normally go in with a whole bunch of ideas. This time I kept it really open. I knew that we'd probably write a song in the vein of being happy and groovy just because of Mike's talents. And so like lending ourselves to that, into that space and allowing the groove to happen. But really it was just, I think in the moment, someone just said, you got that lovin'. And I'm like, yeah, that's like it's bluesy, country feel to it. And it's open. And so it was really, it's nice to write things like that too in a first write with people. Nothing that's super, not that the song's not deep, because I mean, obviously I've pulled in lyrics in the verses that are special to me. But just to keep it like you're not taking on a whole concept, you're just writing about this feel good feeling.
In what way was a verse special to you?
It's the lyrics. For a long time, I had trouble sleeping. So I definitely wanted to put that in. And independent woman and happy alone. I mean, I feel like I preached a lot of that for a long time. Errol and I share that, where we have the sentimentality, the sentiment that we are going to just focus on our work and not have a partner, and just really dive in and do everything ourselves. And so that's why it came out so quickly. It was really easy to write. We're like, yeah, and then we can say this, and we just kind of bounce off each other.
Did you have a full band in the studio, or how did you get the full band?
We did not. Mike Loudermilk played every single instrument, and then did the drums on the computer in his keyboard, and literally kept picking up the instruments. And I was just in awe, because he has all these nicknames, and for each of his instrument kind of personalities, and one of them he's really known for is the bass. It's like Thumper Bottoms is his nickname, and he's just so good at keeping it. I've never seen anyone in the studio record bass like that and have it be that even. Like every single note was that, not like hit a note a little harder, it was like exactly even. And he could, because of that, and because of where he's coming in from with that talent, I feel like I could be like, okay, maybe try something like this, one take kind of thing. So we were able to really kind of put the whole picture together, because sometimes you tell someone Trop Rock and they're like, what does that really entail, or what does that mean for you? And we definitely had production conversations a little bit prior, but I think going in for that day, it was really just down to like, not that. Okay, try this, and then we just were piecing it together, instrument by instrument. And I was like, it's missing the B3. We need that like high hold back in there, and so he added that, and yeah.
Do you consider this a Trop Rock song?
I do. I know that there is a totally different spectrum for everybody, but I think Trop Rock can be about traveling. I think it can be about drinking. I think it can be about love. Like, as long as it has that feel and that feel good vein where you can listen to it and be like relaxing or doing the activities that you would do in a beautiful environment like we love.
So I heard that you almost passed out after recording this song.
Yeah.
Tell us that story.
Oh my. I was focusing really hard because I'm really picky with vocals, and I was worried that it might be hard for Mike and I to go back and forth and like change things if I needed them to be changed. So I got so determined before going in the studio that I was like, I'm going to do it like full takes. I'm going to get this. I'm going to like lay it down and not have to do anything to it. And I just put a whole lot of pressure on myself. But I got in the studio and I literally was like, here we go. And I just focused so hard. I couldn't even tell you what the time had passed. If it ended up being only 45 minutes. And normally like a 90-minute put down vocals that's more normal. You kind of time yourself to do like 90 minutes, but of course people take months sometimes just to do vocals for their album. So yeah, I got out there and I remember sitting down and listening to it and I was like, we got it. But then I just kind of got really hot and lightheaded, and I had never had that happen to me before. I had to make sure I was sitting down. I was like, oh my goodness, I might need a minute before we do harmonies.
Intense.
Yeah, I was. It was crazy.
Well, I really do love the song, and I'm sure both your country and Trop Rock fans will love it too. And we're going to play a little bit of it right now.
Okay, awesome.
In this crazy life, you caught my eye. I can see you as my ride or die. Never needed more than what I already had, but you've got that loving that I need so bad. Yeah, I want it. Yeah, I need it. Gotta
Thank you. You got that lovin'.
Love it.
Yeah.
So I hear you recently went on your first cruise,
My
the Atlanta Parrot Head Cruise in
Yes.
the Eastern Caribbean, where you were one of several big-name trop rock artists. Tell us about that experience.
Yeah, speaking of names, I mean, just to be on the stage with Sonny Jim or Nadira, like that was, and like, and John Patty, like these people, and Jax was there too. He ended up being able to come, Jax Bowers. And so like these people are just have been, we either were born into the community or have been in this space, have known Jimmy like so well. I mean, I felt like I was like pinch myself right now being around all these musicians and having us just get to know each other that much more. And Tim Campbell, I've enjoyed him since like day one of meeting him. But yeah, to be asked to go on a cruise, that was a trip of a lifetime. It really was.
So was it your first cruise ever or your first
Ever.
cruise where you were performing ever?
No, my
Both,
first
right?
cruise ever. Like
Okay.
never been on a cruise, and I'd never been to the Dominican Republic or St. Thomas, Tortola, the Bahamas. I only had been to Puerto Rico and Jamaica at that point, like in that, in that island area, and like Costa Rica and Mexico twice. So like that was it. And so I was like, okay, let's go on a cruise.
So what'd you think of the cruising experience in general?
Loved it. I loved that there were 2 nights where we got 3 dinners in a row. And definitely an ice cream afterwards. And
Oh yeah, got to do that.
but I think what made the cruise that much more special was obviously like going to places I've never been and swimming in the ocean. Like that was definitely a big check off for me. But it was the itinerary. It was going with 320 plus people where we're all wearing togas and we're all like dressing up for the pink night, which they called a little dab of pink night to kind of owe to the Davidali song. And so that was it was really fun to be able to have this whole itinerary. And it was like, okay, now where do we go? Like, cause I just didn't know how to get around the ship. I was like, what floor is this on? I have no idea. Let's just get there.
So what was the one coolest thing that happened on that trip?
I think a really special moment was I ended up signing up for part of my like donation for this silent auction was to have lunch with me. And there was Tim, who's from California. We had never met before, but he knew my music. And so he won the lunch, and we ended up going to a wine bar instead. And we sat and had wine, and his wife Tammy was there, and we just got to really get to know each other. And I just thought that was so special. Like there's no other moment like that I've had. I've never done that before, where I'm just like, you can win a lunch. So it was really cool to be able to have that personal time.
Well, on a personal note, I was supposed to be on that cruise, but
I know,
I had
we
to
missed
cancel
you.
it at the last minute because of a family matter. So I'm really bummed that I missed it, but there'll be other chances. There'll be other cruises, and that's why I wanted to hear so much about it. And
Yes.
I want to maybe go on it next year again.
And we were sending you a couple photos.
You were, and I
It was
appreciate
so
that.
sweet. And yeah, it will have, I mean, there are plenty of cruises in this community, which makes me, if there's anything that I can do on my end, I'm going to try to make sure I can go on another cruise, because that was really fun. So we'll have to line it up.
Absolutely. So let's talk a little bit more about your career highlights, especially over the last couple of years. I want to mention that you were honored as the 2024 Female Country Artist of the Year by the Josie Music Awards, which is for independent artists, and won the 2024 and 2025 Radio Trop Rock Song of the Year for Largo with Mike Nash and Tied Down with Mark Mulch. So what do those honors mean to you?
It's super cool. Like, one, Radio Trop Rock is based on literally how much people like our requests. They have based on how many people are requesting, like listening in, requesting the song, and I don't know how many times people have gotten it 2 times in a row, but it really does blow my mind to even think about it. And that, Mike and I were here writing the song, or the moment that Mark and I wrote that song out at his place, like in that moment, you don't know, you're just like, this was so fun. This is groovy. Let's try to put it out and do the best honors with the production, and obviously try to do my due diligence marketing wise and do what I can do. But it's just really cool that just with our resources, we've gotten to those places, and also accepting the vocal event of the year for Largo in 2025 at the Josie's on the Opry stage was cool as well. So I feel like it just feels a little wild and awesome.
Yeah, being up on the Opry stage must be just an amazing feeling. And I know they have that circle up there that came over from the Ryman, where pretty much every country music artist, every famous country music artist from the last 4 decades has stood on that circle and performed.
Yeah. And I feel like I did a lot of writing. I want to, be at the Opry and like manifesting and praying on it. Like I have a coffee mug that I drink. I have a Dolly mug and a Jimmy mug and a Opry mug. And it's literally circulates. And I drink when I'm drinking from my Opry mug, I'm just thinking about it. So I feel like all of that stuff helped to make it in the circle, to accept an award. It's just kind of crazy.
I wore my Nashville hat for you today.
I see. It looks so good. That's perfect. All
right. So you've also opened for some huge names, Thomas Rhett, Kip Moore, Brothers Osborne, Pam Tillis, and one of my favorites, Shenandoah. What's one moment from those experiences that sticks with you?
Marty from Shenandoah was really special. He took me aside and just kind of took a second to get to know me, and then pour into me and basically just say, like, you got some chops, like keep going, and really took a moment to have a special moment. So I'll never forget that. And it was just, it was at a campground. We were at a campground in Wisconsin. I cannot think of the campground name. And I had opened for them, and then they were playing right after me. So it was like this crazy, like, one-off show. And I remember being in golf carts, and we were riding around this like massive conglomerate campground. And but yeah, he, rather than just going back to the trailer like the other band, he really made a point to stop and have a conversation and say hello to my grandpa and my uncle and everyone that came, like to really just like meet the family and shake their hand. And that was really special.
Yeah. And you've also played overseas over the last couple of years, specifically in London.
Yeah.
Tell us about that and what that was like.
I was talking about that earlier this morning. I met up with 2 of my friends, and Taylor and Tori, and they're going out there for 20 days. And I was like, they're like, any tips? And I was like, yeah, I mean, this is like this is one of my favorite subjects. The food is wonderful over there. The people are very much love live music and very much a music forward culture. Kind of like we are as Parrot Heads, which I love, and as people in the Trop Rock community love music, like live music and original music. And it's so the food and the music, but then the people really are on a different pace. I want to say, like, not necessarily slower, but their priorities are a little different. I feel like sometimes over here in the States, we're way too much on our cell phones and technology, where they don't have as good of internet over there. So it kind of just lends itself, like they talk face to face with anybody and everybody. It's like their whole point of existence is more very focused on like communication and just connecting. And so I really do appreciate going over there. Of course, there's like conveniences that I like here for sure. Like having bigger garbages. And when people give you juice, it's not like this tiny of a glass. It's like an actual glass. And the elevators and the hallways are all very small. It's just like feels some claustrophobic sometimes. The showers are tiny. And I'm a tiny person.
But their beer mugs are big.
That's right. That is right.
So where did you play over there and how did that come about?
Yeah, the first time I went over, it's been 3 times now. The first time I went over was for C2C in 2023, and that was in March. And my duet partner, Thomas Kavanaugh, who lives in Exeter, him and I put out a duet, and he was like, I get to play C2C. You want to come be my guest, and we can play the duet song? And I was like, yes, absolutely. Why would I not? Why would I say no right now? C2C is short for Country to Country. It's their biggest country music festival over there. And so I went, and then the next year I went again, and that was the year that I did a 5-week tour, basically from country to country to country on the coast. So I was like, I'm just going to go for 5 weeks and do about 23 shows in between these 2 festivals. And I did some hosting things over there, and it was just like my great adventure. As much as I wanted to play a bunch of shows, I also just wanted to like show myself that I could do it and like go figure out the trains and just kind of do it. And I feel like I had enough people over there that I could stay on their couch, or they could come pick me up from the last train stop, like things like that. So I wasn't completely on my own, but there were definitely parts where there was nobody else to like turn to be like, now what? Where do we go? You know, I had to like be the one in charge the whole time, which was really good for me. And this last time I went over to perform at more north of England at a theater to honor the Traveling Wilburys. And I was a guest on the show. So I just booked a couple of shows around that. But I've been to like Wolverhampton, Birmingham, Manchester, Liverpool, lots of London, Exeter, Plymouth, maybe a couple others. But yeah, I feel like I've really gotten England. So now I want to expand around that.
Do you have any plans to expand around that?
Not in concrete, but I definitely want to and need to.
You've been in Nashville now for how many years?
I guess in October it will be 9 years, so 8 years.
9 years. Mm-hmm. So have you been starstruck at all? Have you met any big country music stars?
I remember seeing, I definitely, have met people, and I really do enjoy when people are just like chill, humble. You get to meet them. But I saw Darius Rucker at just like Red Door. I've seen Lauren Elena at Red Door. I thought that was cool. I feel like I would get starstruck if I saw like Leanne Rimes in person, or like Brad Paisley, Tim McGraw, Reba, like that kind of era of country.
Yeah.
When I first really started listening and diving in, I remember seeing Alan Jackson get on stage for a songwriting award to accept an award. And I wasn't even by him. I was in the audience watching him go up to the stage to accept this award at a podium. This had to be like a year and a half ago. And I just thought that was the coolest thing. Like, I was like, he's in the building. Look at him, like. But I've been at shows and award things where it's like Garth Brooks is right there with Trisha Yearwood. And they may be showing them on TV or, things like that. But I do remember specifically like having Alan Jackson get on stage and being like, just in awe.
One of my all-time favorites, Alan Jackson.
Yes.
Absolutely. And one of these days you'll be up on stage with some of these people.
Hopefully that's the plan. That'd be great.
So what are some other things that stand out in your career from the last couple of years?
The last couple of years, I immediately go, like, what's important to me is the songwriting. So like my brain automatically goes to just how many songs I've written and who I've gotten to get in the room with. I'm just very grateful for that, because there's something really special. I hold it very highly of like crafting a song. I feel like that's like what came onto this planet to do. And so it is sacred to me. So that's the first thing I think about when you ask a question like that. It's just, I'm proud of my catalog of songs I've been getting to write.
Do you have one that stands out as your favorite?
Ooh, it kind of depends on the day. Right now I've been playing a song called All Petty, like almost every time I've been out. And it's from my icon era of writing. Like wrote a song about Willie Nelson, wrote a song about Dolly, wrote a song about Tom Petty. This one is called All Petty, but the hook is all petty without the Tom. And like how this guy was being really petty as in the adjective, but he's all petty without the Tom. So it's just, right. And I quote a lot of Tom Petty songs in it. It's just fun because I feel like everyone knows these songs, so that you can see their eyes like be like, oh, okay, yep, that's another title. That's another title. You know,
somehow I missed that song. Is that song out yet?
It's not out.
Oh, that's why I haven't heard it yet.
Yeah, it's
still working on it. Okay. Yeah. All right. I look forward to that one.
Yeah.
Overall, how would you describe your style of music and how it's evolved over the years?
You know, I've had a couple of people recently tell me that I remind them of Sheryl Crow, and I'm like, I'm not mad about that. I would never, like, that's amazing. I appreciate that. So, but I think with them saying that, I have this Midwest 80s rock in my sound. I've definitely songs with a lot of that bluesy thing, which is why I love artists like Leanne Rimes and Chris Stapleton. And when they came out, I was like, yes, I'm 100% on board with what you're doing. But I call it modern country with a bluesy rock tone, and then throw all that on a boardwalk on a sunny day or on a beach, and you would get my sound. Very positive, good vibes, groovy bass lines. Yeah.
And you say modern country, but you also have a lot of old country in you too, don't you?
Yeah. You know, I was talking to someone about that recently, and they're like, you've definitely dipped into, like, with I Now Know Better, with Dawa Dolly, and those songs specifically, you know, to honor the 9 to 5 sound, the Two Doors Down sound of her music. I just felt like that would really lend itself to having some of that in the production style. And I Now Know Better. I mean, the writer that I collaborated with and the artist, she's from Mississippi. Like, I never thought I would write a song that said some of the things in that song, but we did, and it was really funny, and it was fun to write, and she wanted to record it together, and I was like, that sounds great. Let's do it. So I think also through duets, I've been able to, like, kind of explore a whole different spectrum of, like, what's in the sandbox.
All right. And do you see it going in a different direction, or how do you see your music growing in the future?
Growing in writing, for sure. I've always been an artist that I want to keep people guessing. I think there are a lot of artists out there, and no shade to that. They have a lane, like maybe a sad girl. Go to their page because you're having a sad girl moment, so you go listen to their music. I kind of want to keep people guessing, like, what is she gonna do next? Fully, I can't answer it as much as I know. I definitely, no matter what the production is or what instruments I bring into the production, I'm still going to sound like this in my voice, you know? So there will always be a blend of what we just described in the song. There's going to be like that bluesy country top line happening.
So when did you first realize that music was going to be more than just something you loved, but an actual career path?
That's a hard question for me. I don't think I ever like stopped and had that moment to pick. Like it was always just kind of picked for me before I even came here. And so I started working at a dinner theater in Fort Atkinson, the Fireside Dinner Theater in Wisconsin, when I was 8 years old. And I just loved it. And I worked there till I was 13, till I moved up to Green Bay. I was doing show choir and just really, really involved. So it was always a matter. I went to Nashville for the first time when I was 11. So it was always a matter of like, when am I going to move to Nashville? Not if. And there's just a couple of like, we were thinking about moving there in middle school, the whole family, just kind of uprooting so I could go to a magnet middle school that was very music focused. So it's just kind of like, that was always the thing that I want to do after college and getting a business degree at Edgewood in Wisconsin. I very much like, it was an unwritten expectation that I go get a job in my business degree. So I went and got a corporate job, but I remember like that, it just didn't feel satisfying. And I was like, see, I can do that job. I can do a job like that anytime if I need to, but that's not like what I want to be doing. I remember
Is that when you were doing Kirstie's Thirsties on the side?
Yes, I was like probably a year after that job too, because I was at two other jobs right after my job out of college. I eventually got offers for some big bands in Wisconsin, but I knew that my heart needed to start my own project. And I wanted more of a say and to be able to explore really with the band and with our set list to find my sound. Thirsty Jones began.
And I want to talk about your evolution into Trop Rock too. I know we've had a lot of Trop Rock artists on this show and your name comes up a lot.
Is that because I write with them? Is that because I've written with them? I feel like I've written with so many people.
Yes, yeah, because you wrote with them, or they just admire your work.
Aww.
And how did you first find your way into the Trop Rock scene?
So it was 2020, and my aunt was like, "All right, you're the only person who's never come to visit me yet." And I was like, "I told you I can come visit you. I just have to go play shows. So like, where should I reach out to?" But if anyone, a lot of people have met my aunt in the community. And so she's been in Anna Marie Island for 13 plus years. And so she was kind of guilt tripping me about coming to visit her. And then once shutdown happened in Nashville and everywhere, it was like a couple weeks later, she called me and was like, "Now what are you doing?" I was like, "That's a fair question. I'm doing nothing but sitting in my condo here in Nashville doing live streams to the computer." So I went down, this had to be like the beginning of May, I went down and started doing shows like in open areas where people could each have their own place on the beach, or like at Woody's. And I started writing songs about the people down there and what I was experiencing. And at one point I was down there for 9 weeks straight. And so she was just kind of like, what she did was give me a place to stay and feed me a little bit. And then I wanted to stay. And it was like right on, like she had a lanai and it was right on a canal, and it was just so cool. And I just started writing, songs about the neighbors and things. And we all know that person who like goes too fast on the boat, so you spill your drink everywhere, you know. And I just started writing that into the songs. So I kept writing online with other people too. And I wrote Flora Days, and the next thing I know, I was talking to Julie Vogan and my aunt, and they're really good friends. And they were like, you need to talk to Sam Densler. And so I was on the phone with Sam, really trying to understand what Meeting of the Minds was. And then a couple months later, I went to my first Meeting of the Minds, and that was in 2021.
And you were hooked.
Yeah, I was hooked. It really like Meeting of the Minds and that whole Tampa crew, going over to Music on the Bay and just seeing all of that, I was like, I am in. These are my people. I love this so much. People were wearing costumes on stage, and I was just loving it.
And you got this song, Beaches Be Crazy, where you wore your own costume for that album cover. And that was a crazy costume.
That's such a funny picture. The pictures, it was of Crystal and I in these costumes, and I ended up taking her out of it because I remember I had these like crazy eyes in this picture. And so I went and dug it up and used this like random photo in this onesie. And eventually I asked them if I could borrow the onesie because I ended up using this picture as my cover photo. And they bought it for, in Key West, they do like bar crawls in onesies. So they had 13 of the same costumes, the original pinata onesie. And so they ended up telling me that they brought it to Franklin, and they were like, yeah, you can just have it. They put it on a paper bag, like out on their porch, and I picked it up, and I've had it ever since. And multiple people have worn it.
On the Parrot Head cruise.
I definitely did.
You did?
Like at least two nights I wore it for sure. Because it was really like some of those nights it was a little windy, like up on the deck or something, and I was in it, the costume for sure.
You were easy to recognize.
Yeah.
So when you are writing a beach song, are you in a different frame of mind than when you're writing a more traditional country song?
Yeah, I guess you're in a different frame of mind just by like feeling, for sure. I tend to gravitate towards music that makes me feel really good. So I think that's just been my MO as an artist, is put out music that make people feel good and comforted or loved or just like empowered to do something, like any sort of on the positive side. So yeah, I guess I'm in more of a mindset. There have been times where I've written, by myself, and I've written like serious songs or sad songs, but I don't enjoy playing those out as much as those are just for me to write and move on. And I got the feeling out. I really enjoy sharing songs like that. So I think as far as that mindset goes, yes. And I also have I use my Google Drive, and I will write down ideas all the time, or just sing in the audio app of my phone. And so I will go back to those when I'm sitting down to write a specific song. Like if I was writing with Bill White in the room, next week, I don't have that on the calendar, but let's say I was, then I for sure would search either Bill, I would search his name specifically. Mm-hmm. Maybe I thought of Bill White because I'm looking at YouTube, but so I would search Bill's name specifically, or I would search Trop Rock or beach, whatever I put it under. I kind of categorize ideas. But sometimes I'll even categorize them under a person's name if I know I have a write with them soon.
And when you're performing for a Trop Rock audience versus a country music audience, if you're at a place in the Nashville area versus a place, a Tiki bar in Florida, it's a whole different experience, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it's a totally different set list. It totally can be. I would definitely sing songs like Less Witchy at the Beach, aka witchy would be spelled with a B, and Beaches Be Crazy. There's some, family places that I maybe will not sing that song, only because I'm singing, let's say, for the city of De Pere. I have one this summer, June 30th in Wisconsin. maybe not with a bunch of like little kids running around. Would I sing that? Or I have a song called like Tequila Daddy, like very silly songs too. So it just depends. It also depends on the audience. Like I love being able to do a live show and pivot on the spot. So if they're really digging like the older country vibes, or say I'm in Texas and they want some two-step kind of stuff, like I do have songs that fit that.
That's great
sound.
that you have, and that's what we were talking about earlier. You have that versatility. You do hit all those different genres. You kind of sometimes merge them too.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I think I've just written so much that I feel like I have just a good place to pull from this past like year. And of course I'm biased, but this past like year I very much have been focusing on the catalog of songs and bringing songs that I have never seen the light to light, like, and bring them to shows and try them out. And I just thought of a song this morning and I brought up the demo, like the little guitar work tape of it. And I was like, this would be so fun to play at Summerfest. On June 20th, like I feel like this song needs to go in the set list. And so I'm going to work on it.
For those who don't know, Summerfest is in Milwaukee every summer.
Yes. Very excited. It's
We
called
Wisconsin
the Big Gig.
people know all about that.
Yes. And it's coined as the Big Gig is what it's like its nickname. Right. Yeah.
What stage are you playing at Summerfest?
Ooh, I should know that. I don't know that. Maybe the BMO stage? I'm not sure. It's the same stage as David Lee Roth because I'm performing right before him.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, when I look at your schedule, it just causes my head to spin. How many gigs do you typically have in a month, and how do you manage that demanding schedule?
This month was a lighter one, only because I really wanted to put more focus on celebrating online, like stuff like this, and also I wanted to be able to be home and do the admin work and be at my computer. And sometimes it's hard on the road to properly do all the marketing or put out a song in the way that I like to put it out if I'm on the road. However, I've definitely been highly considering just going to the beach like most of January when I have to do a whole bunch of admin work. And I feel like I should rethink this for sure. Note to self for 2027. I don't need to be in Nashville to do admin work. I can work up until like 3 p.m., 4 p.m. and then go out.
And you do a phenomenal job of what you call your admin work, which includes social media and the promotional side of the business. How much of that do you do on your own, or do you have some assistance with that?
I don't. I do a lot of, it's just me and then help from my mom on tax stuff. She's definitely helped with my taxes this year again, which is so helpful. I also have had my mom do Facebook events, keep bands in town updated, keep the schedule updated. So send her here's information, make sure that I put up that I'm going to be on Beach Maniac and have that be its own event, and things like that have been very helpful. I definitely kind of have a template for everything, or also a template of when I want to be somewhere, what part of the months or a part of the year do I want to be somewhere. So it's following the opportunity, but also being strategic about what you say yes to and no to, because I'm just one person taking on people that have teams of 50 people,
Yeah. So you don't hire anybody to do any of your social media. You mentioned your mom helps out. We should give her a shout out, by the way. She's been a big help throughout your career, hasn't she? Shout out your mom. She's been there from the beginning, right? And
yeah, she really
always
has.
There to help.
Yes.
So you got What else do you have coming up besides your new release? You Got That Lovin'. What are you working on right now that you're really excited about?
Really excited about just tours this summer. I'm really excited about playing new songs. I'm really excited to get some of these songs that haven't seen the light yet demoed and play them full band. I mean, right around the corner is, I feel like it's summer's starting, and doing a lot of like private parties, a lot of concerts in the park. I'm excited to come up to Wisconsin a bunch and see my niece and my family and be able to perform where they can just drive to come see me, and have that be, because it hasn't happened since last summer when I was at the winery in New Glarus, that they've been like, my niece was able to come out and things like that. So I'm very excited for that, and excited to just see some familiar faces and meet new faces on the road.
And I understand you're the new president of the Music City Phin Fest.
Yes.
Tell us about that festival and your role in it.
Yeah. City Phin Fest is something that Mark Mulch started and then came to the group, Music City Phins, and pitched it and was like, I can do this. I can set up, I have the place. I just need to get the sponsors and pretty much can do the lineup. We need volunteers. We just need the club's support. And so we just jumped on board last year, and it was such a great success. Like, so much kudos to Mark for putting all that together. And now it's looking like another second annual of Music City Phin Fest. We have our board meeting tonight with all of our board members, and it's also open to the public. So really excited to learn more information about Phin Fest, and just keep the party going, keep the Jimmy vibes going in our community here in Nashville.
What's the date for the Music City Phin Fest?
August 14th through 16th.
And is it the same place as it was last year?
I believe so. That's what I heard, but I'm going to get a lot of confirmation of things tonight, so I wish I could share more. It sounds like it's going to be a very similar structure to the year before than it was last year. Yeah.
We'll keep an eye out for that and see who all the artists are that are going to perform there this year.
Awesome. Yes.
And you're also involved in an organization called Porter's Call, which I understand helps musicians with issues and stresses they face in their careers and personal lives.
Yeah.
Tell us about that and why and how you got involved in it.
Porter's Call has been amazing. I found out about them through WMBA, which is the Women Music Business Association. I was at one of our panels, our mandatory panels that we go to, and they had people from Echo and Porter's Call. Porter's Call focuses more on music, not music, the artists, like the front person, and then Echo focuses more on the people that are behind the scenes within the music industry. And basically they are people who understand the music industry. So I feel like I am able to do a lot less explaining, and it's more like, okay, we know exactly what you're going through and the demands of this job. So just to have somebody that has that understanding, and although they are licensed therapists, they work as porters, as your friend, as someone right next to you, just listening and giving advice. So it's been a tremendous thing and a beautiful organization. It's all free for musicians.
And it focuses specifically on the sorts of issues that the demanding life of a musician comes up with.
Yeah. And especially when you have a family, you're married, they've helped a lot of people that you would know, that you've heard on the radio, that to help with that dynamic of when you're on the road and then you come home, and how do you meld those two worlds back together again? Because they are very different, like tour life versus then you go back home and you're with the family, like you're meeting back with your husband and the kids, or wife and the kids, and how do you bridge that together and work together as a unit? make that work, because it's a very non-conventional type of living.
Right. And that's wonderful that there is an organization like that helps specifically those people with those issues. I love it.
Yes. Yeah, shout out.
So let's close this up here with some fun questions. First of all, you mentioned your niece. So is that your 3-year-old niece?
Yes.
And she's very special to you, isn't she?
She is. I feel like I had a dream about her before she was born, and she was about 6 years old. She's 3, so she's not even, this dream hasn't happened. But in my dream, we were really close, and I feel like that is just, I'm living out my dream right now. That little girl and I were just like locked in. She's my favorite.
It's such a great age, because I have some grandkids about that age too, and I just love it too. Just love playing with them.
Yes, and she's so expressive and learning. So sometimes she'll repeat what you say, and
Right.
like, it's just really, it's so fun.
What other activities do you do in your spare time?
I've taken up Pilates, which I've really, really enjoyed. I never thought I'd find something that actually got me to work out. I've really, really like that in my spare. I like to go on walks. I like to be outside. I live right by like Edwin Warner Park. So I thankfully live right by where I can just pretty much do a walk to get to this big park with a lot of hiking. And I love watching movies, because that kind of takes my mind off of everything else, and then I get like sucked into the movie. So
Horror movies, comedies,
No.
rom-coms. What's your favorite?
Rom-coms for sure, chick flicks for sure, all the Hallmark movies. But I also enjoy the sci-fi movies a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite?
I just watched Minority Report, and I hadn't seen that yet. Scarlett Johansson's in a lot of them. So isn't there one called IT or It that she's in? If it's sci-fi, I'm watching it, or if it's a romance.
What would be your dream gig? Where would it be, and who would be on stage with?
That's a hard question, because I would love to play the Opry and have Dolly be on stage, but also like a ton of other female icons. Like if it could be like literally Leanne Rimes, Faith Hill, Jody Messina, Martina McBride, and Dolly and myself. So they're like up and coming artists, and we're all singing Dabba Dolly at the Opry. That would be pretty cool.
That's awesome.
So that would be a fun gig. But really, as far as gigs go, like a theater is, I feel like where I feel, I love playing listening environments like that. And thankfully I've done a handful of theaters, and it's just been a wonderful experience.
Who would you most like to have a cup of coffee with? Anybody in the world, actually dead or alive. Who would you want to have a cup of coffee with?
There's, I'm trying to think of somebody other than Jesus, because I know I've answered this question before, and of course him. He'd be number one, just sitting in the vicinity would be amazing. But I'm trying to think like somebody else that I want to sit with and just great. Brad Paisley, I would sit down with him for coffee. I'd sit down with Elton John. Just like, I feel like people that just have this like creative bug, they write music and they can write anything in songs. Those two, and Phil Collins, like such a writer. I probably wouldn't sit down with him though, because a little like super out there. But But I enjoy people who are super creative and just have a different way of looking at things.
Okay. And my final question, if you had to describe your perfect beach day, what would that look like?
Ooh, I like this one. It would definitely be where the water is clear and very teal, and you can see, and it's just, you can walk out very, very far distance. So perfect beach day would definitely be if I can like go swimming for a long time in the ocean, then lay on the beach, like basically just do a whole lot of like chilling, lay on the beach, then eventually get up, walk not that far to get a seafood platter and like pina colada, and then go back to laying on the beach, get hot, go back in the water, go back to the beach, like read for a second, fall asleep, then eventually go into a hammock. And
I agree with all of that. That sounds awesome. And you probably either had that or came very close to it on your Parrot Head cruise.
yeah, we got to be in Megan's Bay, and Stirrups Cay Bay had a Silver Cove. In Stirrups Cay, there was a Silver Cove Bay. So both of those were like these little kind of more secluded areas of the beach. It was really nice.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So, all right, I'm going to let you go because I've taken up enough of your time and I know how busy you are.
This was so fun.
It's been fun, and I
Yes.
really appreciate your taking the time, and we'll definitely be keeping an eye and ear on everything that you got coming up. And I hope to run into you in one of your gigs, especially I know you're going to be at Timler's Tiki Bar house concert August 8th, and that's on my calendar.
Yay. Okay,
A lot
great.
of times I put things on my calendar, though, and something else comes up, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to be able to make that. I think, is Jason Acey still scheduled to be with you that day? That'll be fun.
Yeah.
And
Can you
Timler's
remind-
is a great venue. Do a little shout out for Timler's Tiki Bar
Absolutely.
and the great work that Mark and Kathleen do there.
They have a
to
beautiful
support Trop
space.
Rock musicians. Yeah.
Yes. And I've been there before with Scott Southworth, so I'm very happy to be able to come back. And Jason's uber talented, and hopefully we'll get to do our song that we wrote together in like a duet form. That'd be really fun. But yes, thank you for having me. I just appreciate so much the words that you have put out in the past, and just the support that you've given. I'm just really grateful for it. So I thank you very much.
All right. Well, thank you. And I appreciate everything that you're doing and have done. And like I say, look forward to all the great things that we have coming up.
Sounds good. Yes.
All right. We'll see you on the road.
Sounds good.
All right.
Bye, Bill.
Bye now.
Bye, Beach Maniacs.
Thanks again, Kirstie, for joining me on the Beach Maniac Island Music Podcast. For more information about Kirstie, visit beachmaniac.com, where the podcast is housed. There you'll find both the audio and video versions of the interview, along with video clips and links to Kirstie's social media pages. You can also watch the video podcast on the Beach Maniac YouTube channel. Just search for Beach Maniac Island Music Podcast.